Osita Chidoka, who is a former road safety commissioner, is saying the most honorable thing President Tinubu can do now is to resign. The fact is that there was a forgery. Yeah, it doesn't matter if he went to Chicago University, which I'm thinking there are certain things that we are yet to know, that if further probes are done, they will get to uncover. Now, it doesn't matter if he went to Chicago. Was it Chicago State University that presented that particular certificate to you? No. You don't need to go reading what Reno Mokri is writing. The damage control is even causing more harm. Reno Mokri said you can print your whatever result from online and you can design it the way you like. These are people who does not think anything about their reputation again. Meanwhile, I used to be a Reno Mokri fan, but I've lost confidence in him. I've passed a vote of no confidence on him. So, including Festus Kayamo, all who are trying to do damage control, they cannot help the situation. Tinubu did not present a primary school or secondary school certificate with INEC. This is what he could present, and this also resurrects it on whether his name is Bola Tinubu. I've heard in some corners they saying the Bola Tinubu is a lady. So I don't know whether it's a case of identity theft.
Presidential Campaign Council Chief Osita Chidoka, thank you very much indeed for coming in.
Thank you, Charles.
What can you tell us about what's emerged from those depositions in the US? What have you discovered?
First, I must say that I was shocked, surprised. Something inside of me was still very confident that, okay, there may be some issues, but there won't be a case of certificates forgery, you know. So I followed the depositions closely, and I was alarmed. I was disappointed that the certificate that was issued to INEC was disowned by Chicago State University. If President Tinubu knew that this certificate did not come from Chicago State University, maybe there would have been an opportunity for him to come clean to the country and said, you know, I've been a governor, I've worked in the corporate sector, so, you know, the issue of certificates, you have attended advanced courses, I have a transcript from somewhere. I don't know where my certificate is, but, you know, I have a transcript. But, you know, because this is a consistent pattern, as governor of Lagos State, the issue was whether he went to Government College Ibadan or he didn't go to Government College Ibadan. Whether he went to University of Chicago or he didn't go to University of Chicago. And now CSU again, how he got there. Now, all the ancillary issues around it, whether he came from Southwest College, whether he came with an HSC from London, whether he came with a certificate from Government College Lagos, which wasn't in existence at the time he filed it, are tangential to the issue. The issue is that the university, the Chicago State University, have said on oath, the certificate of 27 June 1979 is not our certificate. We did not issue it. He was our student, but this certificate is a forgery. The triangle, the name of the person that signed it, you know, they pointed out all the obvious infractions, and this was very embarrassing.
Damaging.
So the university is saying that the transcript that they have, you know, diplomas are usually ceremonial in the US, they said. But that in this situation, in this case, they did not issue this diploma. Now, what that means is that it's possible he went to Chicago University. It's possible that the background documents that brought him to Chicago University are the documents he doesn't want us to go into. But I don't think that was enough to force the forgery. You know, I came out during the case of the young girl, Umesoma in Anambra, who took JAMB in my CBT center, scored 249, decent score. That's a B in any, out of 400, that's a B, you know, in Nigerian 60 and above. Then decided to manipulate her result to 362 and claimed that this is her score. She got 362. Now, everybody is worried. Why would you, with your 249, now jack yourself up by 100 and something marks to do that? So there's a psychology about fraud that is not clear to people. Why would a girl, a 19-year-old girl, why would you change your results to 362 from 249?
But that's...
If you went to school, why would you now forge a certificate of the same school you went to?
Well, that's a matter of speculation. I mean, the key legal issue is that you forged your certificate.
Yes.
That's the key legal issue,
so
isn't
the
it?
point I'm making is, I don't know why anybody would do that. To your point about he went to the school. So my point is, you know, I can see that it made so much. She took JAMB. She got 249. Why would you do this? I don't know why. But I don't know why, and it doesn't concern me. My concern on this matter is, why would you then forge the certificate of a university that you went to?
Or maybe your concern is that you believe you have evidence to now prove that he forged his certificate.
The university under oath said so. I'm quoting them.
Right.
I'm not saying...
I mean, you have legal experience as well. So the legal question is, does the fact that Mr. Tinubu allegedly submitted a fake certificate to INEC invalidate his claim to have attended and graduated from Chicago State University? And the answer, according to the university's registrar, is that it does not.
Okay, so the university registrar is not in a position to determine what the outcome of a forged document is. In the US, all the president needed to have done was to send in his transcript and say, I lost my certificate, but here are my transcripts. He didn't do that. Now, Section 1371J says, if you provide, no person shall be qualified for election to the office of the president if they have presented a forged certificate to the Independent National Electoral Commission.
But we know
that's about Nigeria. So in the US, it may not be an issue.
I understand.
But by the Nigerian law, it invalidates his candidature, not whether he went to CSU. He has left the domain of whether he went to CSU. We've left that. Here is whether he is qualified. Now, because there are two important things that happened in his affidavit. He swore an oath that he did not attend the primary school, that he has no secondary school certificate, and that he has only the CSU certificate. Once you tendered that, it became an issue. It became, a point in issue, a fact in issue. So now, if the CSU certificate is not genuine, was not issued by the university, it then means there's nothing to fall back on. There's no secondary school certificate. There's no primary school certificate. It's still a mystery how he got to university without those two, but let's assume he did. Smart guy. He walked into a university and showed them he was smart, and they took him. So what the problem now is that if you remove that CSU certificate, then that form is empty. There's nothing to fall back to. He then doesn't meet the qualification for the office of the President of Nigeria, which requires you to have a school certificate at the minimum, or other certificates acceptable to INEC.
Right. So I suppose the next logical question is, what are you going to be able to do with this new material from Chicago to support your case here in Nigeria? Can you submit it as fresh evidence to the Supreme Court or not?
We plan to do that. We're going to submit it to the Supreme Court.
Right.
Whether they will accept it is a question for them. But I think this is beyond legalism. I think it's beyond legalism. I don't think that Nigeria as a country should be debating whether the Supreme Court will accept a document. We're internationally embarrassed. We're going to be the subject of international conversations. Our president will be the subject of a man who is going to be needing to make difficult decisions in Nigeria. The population of Nigeria is predominantly young. The young people in Nigeria need to be mobilized. The fuel subsidy has gone. Dollar is at 1,000 naira. Our production has fallen below 1 million barrels. Our foreign reserves is largely made up of fake dollars borrowed from banks, so we have less than 3 billion. Our letters of credit are no more being accepted by international banks. Then we're having challenges with power in Nigeria. We're having challenges with deregulating the electricity sector. For you to take these decisions, you need a national consensus. You need legitimacy. You need to go to the West African region to spread the gospel of democracy. You can't go there with a tainted mandate. That is the point. I don't think the point is the Supreme Court decision. The Supreme Court will be doing itself and the country a great disservice if it does not take judicial notice of what the legal deposition in Chicago University has done. So what is at issue here really for me is that I think the president should just resign. There should be some honor in this country. He should just say, I made a mistake. I don't know how I got this certificate. I don't know, I sent somebody and maybe it got to me wrong. But this is not something that needs another technical, legal rigmarole. No, this is something that will hobble the country. It will reduce our capacity to intervene in the West African region. It will reduce our capacity to be the leading African nation. It will reduce its ability to convince Nigerians that we need to take difficult decisions. It will be difficult to convince our students in school to follow the path of honor. So I don't think this is an issue of legality. For me, I don't see it as a legal issue. Well, I see it as a moral one.
Yes, but some would certainly argue that much as they would agree with you, you have a political motive for wanting to see it more as a moral issue than a legal issue. The legal eagles are saying that these are two different things. We must establish the legality or illegality of what has happened, and that it is incumbent upon the Supreme Court to look at the circumstances, because in law there is always circumstantial evidence. There are circumstances that lead to things, that they would have to ask fundamental questions about whether, first of all, a forgery actually took place. And if it did take place, is it forgery based on carelessness or forgery based on intent to deceive? Because oftentimes in law, if you can prove a premeditation, an intention to deceive, then that's a different thing than just saying that somebody may be out of carelessness, that maybe, he was rushed to submit a certificate and he didn't have the right to it. He felt this will not invalidate the fact that I did go to Chicago State because the university has said, yes, he did attend. So that's not really the issue here. But the fact that that document ended up being submitted, assuming that is a forged document.
Yes.
You see the point I'm making?
No, the point I'm making is not for a strict liability issue. If you submit forged documents under oath, because if he had said, these are my transcripts, my certificate, I'm not certain, about this certificate, but I got one online from the school, but I'm not certain. But here are my transcripts, just in case if there is an issue with this certificate. But if you submitted a certificate of a university, you did not present a secondary school certificate, you did not present a primary school certificate, you have been the subject of an investigation about whether you went to Government College Ibadan and you didn't go, whether you went to University of Chicago, you said it was a mistake. We accepted that, Afiko, you made a mistake in filling your form. Ganifa Wemi died fighting this cause, to say, you need to investigate this man. He didn't go to these schools he's mentioning. So now we have another issue. Since 2007, when he left as governor, if he had gone to write GCE, like a governor did that, gone to write GCE.
The presenter was asking Chidoka if they can prove that the result is forged. Meanwhile, Chicago State University, in their deposition under oath, are saying we did not issue that particular result. And they gave you instances of results they issued in that year. So, who is at best position to say we did not issue that result? Chicago State University. That is the evidence PDP is going to use. There is no need to prove anything. This is a common fact everybody knows. Yeah, you went to Chicago State University. Okay, he said he went to certain colleges in Nigeria, and people who graduated a particular year he's supposed to graduate are denying him. Something is wrong. Is he the Tinubu he claims to be? Is he another character? Who is he? Chicago State University said the particular result which was submitted to INEC, which they have seen, maybe it was smuggled out based on what we had, it's not from them. We had some people saying INEC was asked to quickly destroy the certificate he submitted. That's a kind of covering of evidence. The case of Meto in court was given something he signed during Jonathan's time, and he threw it into his mouth and chewed it. That's like destroying evidence. So it's not a case of trying to prove anything. It's been proven. I don't know what the Supreme Court will be waiting for. By now we should have seen a resignation written. If it's in a country where there is respect, where people care about their integrity, the most honorable thing he would have done is to resign. I have seen people, for example, the Volkswagen boss also in Germany, just that there are certain things they could not meet up with the company. He resigned. Honorable people do that. They give way. Some give way because of their health cannot be able to carry, the position they have taken. Their health will not allow them to continue with that position. They give up. But in Africa here, it's where you find people who contravene the law, who by one reason or the other, they are not supposed to still be in a position. They still remain there against all odds. I don't think this case should wait for the Supreme Court, no. He should resign. That is what Chidoka is saying. But again, I'm aware of the country we are in. They will do everything to make it seem right. And you don't know what that is doing to the image of Nigeria and Nigerians worldwide. This will result into proper investigation of Nigerians worldwide. Nigerians will be looked at with certain eyes, with demeaning looks. Any matter concerning Nigeria will be taken more serious than it's been done. If the number one image maker has done something like this, how do you expect the other people he's leading to act? A great damage has been done. And if Tinubu wants to help the image of Nigeria, he should resign.